Hello, everyone. I would like to give an update on my book, The Ecstasy and the Ignominy, which I have now been working on for over a year. I just completed chapter 25, which might sound like a huge accomplishment, but I still have 20 chapters to go. And because this is a very long, epic story that I'm trying to create, and it's really taken its toll on me, especially because with the heat and everything that I'm finding it more difficult to write, especially because I think I may have what you might call reverse seasonal depression, which is a lot of people they get depressed in in the wintertime because it's cold and the days aren't as long. But I often get that kind of depression in the summertime and late spring. And of course, the idea of summer is very poetic. Poets use it quite a lot to for as a metaphorical representation for beauty. But the idea of summer is a lot more appealing than the actual reality of it because when you live, especially where I live in Kentucky, where it can get very hot and very humid, it can definitely demotivate my me in terms of writing, and especially because I, uh, I love going out in the woods and hiking because that it's really tranquil and I can have some privacy, but I can't do that in the summer. I mean, especially because there are so many ticks, especially in late spring, early summer, because you like I will go out in the yard just for a few minutes to feed the dog, for example. I will have a tick on me. In fact, I just the last month I've been bitten by nearly 20 ticks. And of course, ticks can carry diseases, Lyme disease and alpha-gal, where you if you catch it, you can't eat red meat for the rest of your life. My mother already had an infection because of a tick and had muscle aches and had to take medicine for it. And so, but the thing is that another reason also is that I don't really have a lot of because I have to write inside. I don't really have a lot of privacy because yes, I have a bedroom where I can write, and 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 the bedroom is quite larger compared to the bedroom that I used to have when I was when before I lived in the country. And it's times like this that I kind of miss the house that I used to live in, because yes, it is true that the house that I lived in before, the bedroom was very small, and you could hardly and I never spent any time in it other than sleeping. But there were other places that I could go. Like I could there we had a second living room and a second dining room that wasn't used for anything, and we also had a rather large basement where that I could spend time in. And but now I hardly have any privacy. I can only write in my room because I can't go outside because of the heat and how dangerous it can be. And that's why I can only usually write outside 6 months out of the year, from October all the way through March. And then after that, it becomes too dangerous to write outside. But there's really no other place that I can write other than my room. And of course, I have to put headphones in, so classical music, so I can't hear anything else. And so it's just a huge mess. And but it's one of the reasons why I stay up late, because a lot of people think I stay up late because I'm just a natural night owl. But no, that's not really it. It's because I need time alone, because I am somewhat of an introvert, and if I lived alone, I could probably be somewhat of an early bird, but I don't. And but no, and plus it kind of disheartened me that I still had 20 chapters left, and especially since it takes me around 2 weeks, but sometimes a little longer, to write a chapter, and I still have 20 more to go, which still means that I probably am not going to complete it until March or April of next year. And it's going to be around that time, and especially since I'm trying to make it where I can finish it a little sooner, especially since I may be getting a new dog around that time. And if I'm having to finish the last chapters while I'm trying to raise a puppy, that's going to be very hard. And so and so yeah, it's I still have 20 chapters left. And again, it takes me around 2 weeks though, and sometimes a little longer if the chapter is of major importance to complete a chapter. And I've been trying to get it where I can complete a chapter in a week, but and sometimes I can, but it depends on what is demanded of me, and whether or not that the scene is short or long, and and of course a lot of people don't seem to realize how I need intense concentration to be able to write, especially since I try to write poetically a lot of the time. So and that's not easy. So I can't have a lot of distraction and a lot of noise when I'm trying to do that. And so, it's not. But a lot of people don't seem to understand that I need tranquility and a sense of serenity in order to be able to do that. And it's just, and I'm also getting somewhat fatigued because I've never worked on a project for this long before. But again, what I've been trying to do with the Ecstasy and the Ignominy is that I've been trying to write a big book, a book that's big, because most of my books that I've written have been novellas, or in the case of Silent Reckoning, it's barely a novel. And so I'm trying to write something that's long and expansive, because that's not something that I've really done. And and I know that when I finish that the Ecstasy and the Ignominy will not be as tightly woven or as concise as some of my other stories. It won't be as polished, but what I'm really attempting to do is just to do it, is just to write a big book, just to say that I did it, and that I'm capable of that, and we'll see. But I know I will complete it, but it's still going to be over a year before it's released, because I'm looking at June of next year at the earliest, and but probably more like July. Probably more like July or August, maybe even a little later. I know it will be released next year, but whether it's released a little earlier in the year or a little later in the year, I just don't know at this point.